So, good evening, everyone. Guess what? You're back in the chat box with me on tonight. My name is Jabrina Speaks, and as you know, this is every first and third Thursdays. And I'm super excited about the woman that's in the house on tonight. Listen, come on in, come on in, come on in. Grab your drink, your coffee, your tea, whatever it is. But I promise you, tonight in the chat box is going to bless you on tonight. Let us know that you're watching. Again, my name is Jabrina Speaks. This is every first and third Thursdays at exactly 7:30 p.m. And tonight's guest is going to bless you because you know what the topic is about on tonight. My pain, my progress, my purpose. And so we're talking about pain. We're talking about the progress of this pain. And then we're talking about how God makes it work all together for our good, according to what? His purpose. So you're in the chat box with me, and tonight I have the amazing, listen, y'all. Since I met this sister, I think it's been almost 2 years since the first time we met. No, a year and a half, because February will make 2 official years. Because yeah. It seems like it's been much longer than that. But that's what real sisterhood is. Hey, Shannon, thank you for joining us on tonight. So listen, I have the amazing, this woman of God, this author, this book coach, the woman behind Rise, Reposition, and Rebuild. I have the amazing Miss Candra Ward in the chat box with me. Hey, Candra. I know, right? I feel like somebody.
I want to share this on my page, but I can't find you.
You can't find me. So if you go to Jabrina, you see it on Jabrina Speaks?
It's not coming up.
So if I hit it, I'm gonna be talking, but I am going to share it. If you go to Jabrina Speaks, it's up. It's up.
Oh, I'm at Jabrina Thompson. That's why.
Yeah, it's on Jabrina Speaks. It's on Jabrina Speaks. All right. Okay. So no, you're good. Because we want you to share it. We definitely want you to share it. But listen, chat box is getting ready to start. Go ahead, tag someone. If you know anyone that knows about pain, and I can assure you, we all know about some type of pain we've had to endure in life. And then you may be sitting in a painful place right now, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to process and progress through this thing? And so then you're going to find out how it all works together, and it's going to be for your purpose. And so tonight, my guest, Miss Candra Ward, is going to share her pain with us. There's somewhere in life she had to stump her toe and say ouch, and then she had to figure out how it all worked together for her good. So Candra, again, thank you for joining me and us on tonight. We are live on Facebook, of course, and on YouTube. So we don't know who is going to watch this now or later, but we know it will bless someone. Again, if you're watching, go ahead and tag someone and comment that you're watching. And Candra, tell us a little bit about yourself before you jump into your story.
Okay, so hey guys, I am back again. I was with you guys a few months ago, I believe. But my name is Candra Ward. I'm a certified life coach and book coach. And what I do is I teach women how to heal first and then tell their story and put it in a book so they can reach the masses, right? In addition to that, I teach you how to turn your book into coaching programs and digital products so you can add to your revenue streams. And I love doing it. I am a former hairstylist and salon owner. I used to own a salon in Philadelphia for 15 years. I'm also a licensed educator. So I used to teach in the schools and the colleges in Florida. I used to teach cosmetology. So now I'm a full-on online entrepreneur. But I do have some surprises coming down the road, but I can't share them yet. So, so that's just a little bit about me. I have 2 sons. I have a 30-year-old and I have an 8-year-old.
You're good for a 30-year-old.
Well, thank you. I share a business with my 8-year-old called the Gabriel Ian brand. So we do a lot of traveling. We do vending events and things of that nature. So it's an empowerment brand for young boys teaching them how to love themselves, teaching them how to stay well groomed and how to be smart and just walk in their power. So super excited about that. But enough about me at this moment. I'm just excited to be on here. So I'm like a little kid in a candy store. So whatever questions you have for me, let's go.
Listen, so before I start, I definitely want to welcome Shannon and Shakia and Vicky and Ashley. Thank you guys for watching us on tonight. So, Candra, with that being said, tell us about a time you've had to endure some pain.
Which one? Okay. I am going to talk about my recent, and I'm not going to get into too much detail at this moment, but there's a time and a place when my whole story will be able to be shared. But last year, the beginning of last year was a very challenging time for me. It was a very challenging relational time, a very challenging home time. And I never thought that I would go through something that strenuous. And that situation really took me to my limits, to the point where I felt like, whoa, God, did you leave me? What happened? Why am I not did you walk away from me? Like, why am I suffering like this? And sometimes when you're going through certain things, you feel like, okay, I'm gonna be in this for a little bit and then I'm going to be out, because that's what I was used to. My pattern was I'm in something for a little bit and then I'm out and let's keep it moving. And then you see people online and they're like, if you stay in something too long, it must be you didn't change your mindset and things like that. And sometimes we have to eat the meat and spit out the bones, because everybody's journey is different. So what was happening to me,
repeat what you just said. You have to eat
the meat and spit out the bones, because everybody's journey is different. If you listen to everybody, what they're saying, oh, if you're in that too long, it's you got to change your mindset, which is true in a sense. You got to change your mindset and you have to do this, and there's something that you're not doing. And I'm like, God, okay, I'm doing what they said. I'm trying to get some counseling over here, but this thing just ain't going away. And this is why it's called a process. And then throughout this process, you start to lose people. Throughout this process, people start to look at you like, you ain't over that yet? Or what's wrong with you? Or you can't produce like you used to. And especially when you're coming from a place of authority, you're coming from a place of leadership. And then what happens is, when you don't seemingly have that role anymore, whatever that looks like and whatever that's supposed to look like, people will tend to, and I'm going to say the extreme, people tend to lose their all for you. They tend to lose their respect, because now you are put in a different position. And then you have the people that's like, oh, well, you're just reaping what you sowed, or God is humbling you and this and that. But nobody knows what's really happening to you but God. It may look one way to other people, but they don't know. They don't know. I said something on my Facebook today. Sometimes God will have you in a slingshot. You'll be pulled all the way back just so you can be catapulted forward. But when you're in that pulled back position, it looks like all hope is lost. It looks like you're not progressing. It looks like you're not moving, but God is actually pruning you, and he's chiseling you during that time. So when he catapults you forward into the rest of your destiny, because I believe we walk in destiny every day, you will be, what's the word I want to look for? You'll be honed. You'll be the way he wants you, because he has to present you in front of other people. So back to my story, that's what was happening with me. I was pulled back and I'm sitting here like, oh God, like I'm losing my authority, whatever that looks like to people. I'm losing my status. I'm losing the leadership. I used to run programs and things like that. But then I had to sit back, and I had to sit back and have people help me. I had to sit back and try to figure out, why I wasn't progressing, what was happening. But I was going through a healing journey and a healing process. And when you try to go past the steps of the journey, you're going to keep falling back, because you're trying to progress to this place that you're not ready to progress yet, because you have to bake in the oven at this step. But when you try to operate in the place you used to operate in, or so-called operate in, it's just a huge disaster. So for me, I had to go through that journey, and I kept saying, God, why am I not moving? I had crying nights back to back. anxious nights, anxiety nights when I went to sleep, my heart pounding out my chest,
Mm-hmm.
having to hear people say, well, just trust God, just have faith. And in my brain, I'm like, how you do that? Even though I know how to do it. But when you
Mm-hmm.
run into certain situations, it's like that all goes out the window. This is why prayer is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I made a prayer closet out my bathroom in my room. Like I barricaded myself in there daily. I mean, for hours. I would
Mm-hmm.
put on Maverick City for hours and just
So
weep and
before
just
you
cry.
get to the progress and the process of it, because
Got you.
with the pain, so I may have missed it, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But what I know you said you wasn't gonna, I guess, going to like the full detail of that particular pain, but what pain is it, and how much can you share, so then people can get a feel of that pain that you're talking about.
Okay. That pain, and I do share this in private groups,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but I'm not released to share everything outward.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But ask me that question one more time because I want to make sure I can
So
share
for
it.
somebody that's watching and you've
Mhm.
shared, you did say, okay, I was going through anxiety and all of those things, but what caused that? So
Gotcha.
even if you had to change the pain that you're talking about, because I'm sure you have more than one pain that you've been
No,
through
but
in your
I
life.
want to hit on this one though. This one is
Okay.
important. This one,
Okay.
yeah. Rejection,
Mm-hmm.
abandonment,
Mm-hmm.
um, sabotage,
Mm.
betrayal. I think I want to use betrayal.
Okay, I like that.
Betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Betrayal. I have never experienced betrayal like that in my life.
Mm.
That really tore me apart. It
Mm.
had me in a place where I didn't even know who I was anymore. It had me in a place where I lost my identity. It took the
Mm.
joy. It ripped and I'm going to say I allowed because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we blame everything else, and
Mm-hmm.
some things are valid, but I
Mm-hmm.
allowed
Mm-hmm.
that to really just almost rip my soul out. And because I
Jesus.
have an because I have an 8-year-old, I had
Mm-hmm.
to keep as much together as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But that betrayal, sometimes you can be betrayed by someone or some people so bad. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about betrayal where you would have never thought in a million years that
You
certain
never
people
saw it coming.
and certain people and even if you did see something coming, you never saw it coming to that magnitude.
Right, right.
To the point it's like, wait, what just happened? Like your
Mm-hmm.
head spins like what just happened?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And especially betrayal when you don't get an apology, betrayal when it continues. See, that's the thing. Like the Bible says, long suffering.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced long suffering.
Wow.
Seriously,
Wow. 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 So just if you're just coming in, you're in the chat box with me and my guest, Miss Candra Ward. And the first thing that she is discussing is her pain.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been betrayed by
Mm-hmm.
someone I would say you loved?
Oof.
Someone you thought that would have never done that. And so tonight we're talking about betrayal on tonight. What she had to go through to get to where she is now. She said a few things, but she said, I'm gonna stick with betrayal. Have you
Yes.
ever had to look betrayal in the face? It's like you said, I possibly thought it was coming, but not to this
That
extent.
magnitude.
Like
Mm-mm.
I
Mm-mm.
just didn't realize. Wait a second. Hold on. So we're talking about betrayal on tonight. Wait. Listen, I'm saying it like it's somebody's name. Like I feel like, like, oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about betrayal over there on the left corner, on the right
Over there.
side. Yeah, over
Over
there.
there. Yes,
But we're
over
talking
there.
about betrayal on tonight. We're talking about betrayal. So you told us how in that process of your pain, it felt like you could have lost your soul. It felt like you could have lost yourself. And even if you did, you didn't know that it was like it was trying to figure out what was going to happen next. And so to anybody that's watching on tonight, if you have ever stood in that place, I believe Candra is going to bless you on tonight, because even if you're standing in that place right now, you're looking at an overcomer and a warrior that found out that
Mm-hmm.
I can live even after this. I did not get the apology I thought that I deserved. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what happened? God still did what he was supposed to do with our guest, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Candra. So tonight, we're talking about the word betrayal. We're talking about how it will slap you in you. It will slap you down. What the saying of I slap you so hard that your mama will feel it, or I slap you into next week. That's how betrayal does. It will slap you into next year until literally you're in the next year. You're like, wow, I didn't know I can get over something like that. So I want to
Mm.
move on to the progress and the process of how
Mm.
you handle betrayal. Explain to our audience because again, maybe I know Shannon says she's been there before, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
there's somebody there now that's scared to talk about it because they
Mm.
don't want to seem like you said that they've lost their power or they lost their authority or they lost their identity because betrayal has taken them completely over and they're trying to figure out how did I get here? Somebody with faith, somebody that knows God, somebody that knows the Bible, somebody that knows all of these positive affirmations. How did I get slapped with betrayal? I know I didn't pick the hand up myself and hit me with it. How did I not have that spirit of discernment to know that it was coming? How did I not
Yeah.
see it or even want to look at it head on and say, I see it coming? So talk about the
Yeah.
progress and the process of your pain with betrayal.
Okay. So before we go there, I really want to hone on something.
Mm-hmm.
I think we live in a society where, and especially with social media, and I really want to speak to this because this is very important. This is why a lot of people commit suicide. This is why a lot of people have mental illness. This is why a lot of people are afraid to really share what they're going through. And people walk around with smiles. They walk around with red bottoms. They walk around, hanging out and doing things and shopping and eating at the finest places and, just looking like everything is okay. And then the next day you're like, but I never thought something was wrong with them. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, with betrayal comes shame. Number two, with it comes self-sabotage. Guilt comes along with it. You're second guessing yourself, you're questioning yourself. And everybody's makeup is different. You have some people that are stronger than others in certain areas. But what happens is society wants you to get over things so quickly. Society wants you to operate in this realm of, because we're living a great time. I know there's a lot of bad things going on, but we live in an amazing time right now with entrepreneurship, especially Black women entrepreneurs on the rise. That's a whole nother mental illness thing going on because we're trying to stay up with everybody else. But we live in this time where money is easy to get to. We live in this time where it's everybody's taking flights on Instagram. They standing by their Benzes, all this stuff. And you're going through something and you're like, well, what happened? Why ain't I? But when
Did I
you're
miss the
going
mark?
through, yes, yes, yes.
Did I wake
We don't
up
know.
and everybody got what they needed and I got left behind?
And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because when you have
It's
been
good
hit with
though.
something, yeah, when you've been hit with something and you've lost your identity, or it just your identity went in the background for a moment. I won't say you lost it, but it went in the background for a moment, and you're trying to play catch up. And what happens is the devil will play tricks in your mind. He'll say, "Oh, it's done for you. It's over. Ain't nothing more happening for you. You had your time. You missed the mark. God ain't pleased with what's going on with you." Because see, when you're in betrayal, you start blaming yourself. You start saying, well, what could I have done to make things better? What did I do right? What am I not doing, God? How come my finances aren't the way they're supposed to be? How come my business isn't? How come my home, my children, whatever your thing is, you start to second guess yourself. And what happens is anxiety starts to take over you. And this is the process before I get to, getting over it. But anxiety starts to take over you. And now, they always say, like they say, the mind is the enemy's playground, right? So what happens is he's rehearsing these thoughts in your mind. He's playing these theatrical theaters in your mind. And what's happening is
Literally. Oh, there's a whole play
a
because you
whole
playing
play
it out.
going on. You done
Bestseller.
planned listen, you done planned your funeral. You done planned where you're not going to live because you don't think it's possible. You done planned you're going to be single for the rest of your life. You done planned that ain't all men and dogs, ain't nobody going to ever love you. Like, you done planned all this stuff in your head. And God is like, I have so much greater for you. I just really need you to see it. So throughout your process, he removes people and things, but he does send people and things in your life to remind you, to give you, they don't stay. They give you them little shots, them little B12 shots to get you up so you can get moving. And it just gives you enough power to get to that next step. I just wanted to share that with somebody because I don't want you to feel bad if you are still where you are. Society has a tendency to tell you you're there too long. Now, there are some instances where some people do like to lick their wounds. So I'm not talking to you. If you know you've been licking your wounds and you're staying there and you had several ways out, you got to get moving. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person that's doing what they're supposed to do. They're praying, they're fasting, they're worshiping, they're going to church, they're giving, they're loving, and they're like, it's a process because you have to. If I didn't go through those feelings, I would not be able to help somebody else.
Absolutely.
If I skipped the whole thing, if somebody was, and I never try to commit suicide, but I understand how people's mind can go there because you can be so down so it feel like you can never get up. But if I never went through that journey, I really won't know what you're feeling. All I can say was, girl, I'm so sorry. Give me a hug. I'll pray for you. All right, where are we going to eat? See, there's a difference between empathy. Oh God, empathy and not compassion. It's another word. There's a difference. When someone has empathy, they totally sympathy and empathy. There's a difference between sympathy. Somebody who may have sympathy. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. God bless. That's sympathy. But the person that has empathy, they've been there before. Oh, they can reach that pain that nobody else can reach. This is why and I'm going to move on. This is why a lot of people say, oh, they wasn't there for me. They didn't really care. No, that's not really the thing. They didn't understand the magnitude of pain you were going through. They just had sympathy. Okay. So understand
that's good. That's good. It's a word you keep saying that I actually wrote in a comment today. You keep saying identity. And I made a post today and somebody commented underneath it. And I literally, they use that word. And so I was saying, when I read their comment under my status, instantly I could hear God saying, like, cover my identity and my authenticity. Like, cover both of them. Keep me, but keep me true, keep me pure, authentic. Keep me authentic. Yes. And so it's funny, you keep saying that word. So it's a reason that word keeps coming up. But I said, God, cover my identity, because she was saying you will lose your identity. So if we can ask God to cover that and keep us authentic, then you know what I'm saying, we will be able to, like, okay, this is what it is. Like, if I lose myself, I can still be real and I can tell you I lost myself. I don't have to cover it up. Yes. I don't have to say, well, no, I'm okay. I'm good, and wearing a mask and, like you said, making it look all good. In all reality, is not. So God, keep me true to who I am and to you. So then if I am hurting, if there is something going on, then guess what? I can be honest with God and with everybody else that he has sent to me to help me. Yeah. And so I just wanted to add that in, because that you kept saying that word. I'm like, oh my God, I've heard that. My cousin wrote it up under my status, and then I wrote it, and then now you're saying it. And so we're just going to ask God that with anybody that's watching that may be sitting in a place of betrayal, God, keep their identity. Let them remember who they are, that they don't lose themselves even in the betrayal. Yeah, it may hurt. Yeah, you may cry. Yeah, you may want to throw in the towel, but be true and be authentic to your identity and who God has called you to be. So moving on to the progress in the process. I know you wanted to add that in. So tell us, if I was sitting in a place of betrayal right now, if I was sitting in a place of hurt and trying to figure out what would be the progress and how did you process through it for our audience on tonight?
I just want to share. So for anyone that has had children, I've had two, and I had two epidurals. The epidural is take the pain away. If you had children naturally, this is how I went through this. I had no substitutes. I had nothing to take my mind off it, in a sense of I wasn't sleeping around. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, well, just take your mind. And I'm not in here. This is no judgment. I'm just sharing with you the process that I went
Your
through, because the
process.
reason why I had to go through this, yes, my process. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I had to go through this thing raw was because I wanted, when I came out of it and as I was going through it, I wanted to make sure I didn't have to come back,
No
because
U-turns.
pain,
Mm.
we mask pain with things and pleasures. And again, no judgment. This is what I did. Sometimes we mask pain with shopping, we mask pain with sex, we mask pain with getting high. And these are topical things, you know, but I'm just putting them out there. But I said, nope, I'm going to go through this thing, because if I'm going to mask the pain, that means I'm not healing properly. Because
Mm.
see, when you mask the pain with people and things that's not going to help you move forward, you're going to have to come back, because
It's
you
gonna be a
didn't go through
U-turn.
the U-turn. Because when you get to the place, you're not going to be ready, because you missed it. You covered and smothered the healing, the hurt
You know what
part
I
that
just
you were
saw when
supposed
you said that? It's gonna say dead
to.
end. You gotta turn around. So now you've made a U-turn at the dead end
Yeah.
to end back up in the same situation you were in before, because like you said, you didn't heal from it the first time. Wow. Go ahead.
That's like people going from relationship to relationship, and they never get a breather. They don't know themselves, because it's the same thing we're going through. So that was one of the things that I did to really start to heal properly. Another thing I did, I went to Hobby Lobby and I got one of those pretty boxes, and I cut a slit on the top, and I got the little notepads. And there were days that I could not even speak. There were days that I was like, God, I'm here. I don't even know what to say. But me, I'm a writer, so I can write things down. So I would write my prayers on a little piece of paper, and I will put them in a box. I will
That's
put the date on them. And I Yeah, and I will put on there, today is May 4th, whatever. I'm feeling this way, but I know I'll get out of it. And I'll put it in there. I did that for a reason. Number one, because when I was completely healed, I have something to go back to and say, wow, this time last year, look where I was. And I have something to help somebody else with. So that was one of the things that I did to help with the progress. Again, I told you I made my bathroom, my prayer closet. I was in there for months, like on the floor, laid out, Maverick City, just playing, crying, like, Lord. So those were some of the things. One thing I did do, I stayed in the house for a little while. Some people might say that was bad, but I stayed in for a little while, because a lot of things on the outside was triggering me really, really bad. But then when I started coming out, even when I saw the triggers, I was able to, they hurt me the first time, but I was able to handle them every time they came. You know, I would see families together. I would see certain things that I thought was going to be in my life that wasn't. And it was just like a slap in the face, like, this should have been you, you know? But as I kept seeing, I'm the type of person, even though I may be fearful, I'm going to walk head on like a giant. I'm going to hit it like a giant.
Shaking
I'm going
in
to be
my
like, you know
boots.
what?
I'm still going.
I'm gonna be like, hurt me, boo. Let's go. Hurt me. I'm good. Let's go. Where we going? You know, I may go home and cry, but I want to get over it. I want to get over it faster. So
Right.
those are some of the things that I went through. And sometimes I still do have triggers, but they don't hurt me the way they used to be, because I was able to face them. Another thing that I had to do, I had to remove some people that did nothing to me, right? I had to remove some people off of my social media and things like that, because I had to live in out of sight, out of mind, in order for me to feel faster, because I run my business on social media. So I'm always on there. So if I go on there and I see happy stuff from, you know, the things that the areas that betrayed me, it made me not run, it would make me not run my business effective. So I had to remove that out of sight, out of mind, so I
That's
can run my.
good. That's good. That's
So
good.
those are some of the things that help me just to progress even faster. When I'm able to share my full story, which will probably be like the first sometime next year, it's going to wow a lot of people because of the transitions that I had to go through. And you're talking about somebody that's been on their own since they was 18, never went back home ever. You're talking about somebody that was and when I say was, meaning in that period, I'm still a trailblazer, but someone that was in a particular leadership position that never had to ask anybody for anything, always had my own. The transitions I had to go through, it's like, huh? So when I'm able to share that, it's really, really going to bless people. But I hope what I did share, the little I did share, I hope it did bless somebody tonight.
Listen, I'm sure it did. And we still got another section to go.
Yeah.
Again, you're in the chat box with me and my guest, Candra Ward. It's my pain, my progress, my purpose every first and Thursdays. Tonight, Candra shared with us her pain was betrayal. Her pain was this thing that we call betrayal. Then she talked about the progress and the process through it. And there was one thing that you mentioned that I like. You said that you the days that you couldn't talk, you wrote down whether it was a prayer or what was on your mind. But it was what you said in the process of that. You said, I'm gonna just say, I'm feeling bad, but I won't be like this always or forever. And so even though you could have been speaking because you were sad, you still saw the end result. And so we have to remember, like, you wasn't speaking defeat, even though the body felt defeated. You said, I feel this way, but I know God is going to bring me out of this. I see this is what's going, like tears in my eyes, but I know. So to anybody that may be sitting there, it's just a reminder that though you may be going through, you still speak positivity. You said, I prayed. I didn't know what I would. Listen, as bad as I felt, I said, God, I don't have no words to say. But at the end of the day, you close it with the affirmation. You close it with positive words. You close it knowing I may be like this now, but I won't be like this forever. I may know what betrayal feels like. I may have to go in the bathroom and stand there for hours and cry out to God because the one person I thought that wouldn't do what they did. But God, I still trust you in the process. God, I still thank you for this process. Yeah, I'm mad. Yeah, I'm crying. Yeah, I'm aggravated. Yeah, I'm pissed. But I know I won't be like this forever. And so all of what you said about the progress and process, that part stuck out to me because you said, there was a day I woke up and I didn't have anything to say. Say, God, I'm here, but I don't have nothing to say. But I know it won't be like this forever. I know that someday I'll get my joy back. I know that someday I'll get my peace back. I know that someday I'll be able to lift my eyes to the hills from which my help come from. I know someday I'll be able to lift my hands and tell God, thank you, even for the betrayal, even though I may never, ever, ever get the apology I thought I needed, but that I deserve. And God is saying, guess what? Because like you said it. I said, I won't be like this. God, okay, so you knew even if it was a negative, you overrided it with the positive. Even if you
because
said,
God said he makes all things,
Absolutely.
So he makes all things work together for your good.
Absolutely. So to anybody that's standing in the face, betrayal done slapped you down, done picked you back up, done slapped you down again, put you in the box arena, drug you around, done slug you around like WWE, WWF wrestling. And you like, from the one person or the two people, I would have never thought that. But God is saying, and God said to you, because I got another level for you. And you didn't understand that level then. But I'm sure now you probably are like, whoa, I just would have never thought that would have come out of that situation. So to God be the glory.
The windows of heaven are to God be the glory. The windows of heaven are so open right now. There was a time where I felt like a dark cloud was following me. There was a time where I just wanted to wake up and just have joy, but I always woke up heavy. And it's like, am I in a depressed state? Like, what's going on, God? I can't seem to shake this. But then it's like one day, trouble don't last always. How the old people say, trouble don't last always. This is all going to work out for your good. You are not defeated. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are the lender and not the borrower. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I had to speak that to myself every day. Every day
Mm,
I had to write on my mirror with markers, my bathroom mirror, because it kind of took up the whole wall. I would write on there. So that's all I saw in the morning because I had
mm.
to affirm myself because I wasn't feeling too good about myself, you know?
That's
So
good.
yeah, yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Let's talk about how the latest betrayal that you've had to face, how this is working or has worked for your good. How has it worked for your purpose now? Tell us about that.
It it has worked for my purpose because it's shifted me in a different environment. Let's just
Mm,
say that. It shifted
mm,
me in a different environment. And this environment is ready for the picking. Like this environment, it's so weird. Do you ever, and let me ask you this, do you
mhm,
ever notice that a certain number always presents itself to you?
mhm. Let me tell you, and when it does, I
And you always,
research it. I researched it to see what it is, like what it meant. Just not
yeah.
too long ago, this one particular number came up 3 to 4 times in one day. Right, Shannon? 444 is
Mm,
definitely one of them. But it was the most weirdest number because it wasn't the like 111s, how Shannon's saying 444 and 111. I'm gonna say it was like, I'm gonna just say 257. And it was like I
mm-hmm,
saw it one place, and then in the summertime, we took the kids on field trips. When I got on the bus, I
mm-hmm,
saw the same number, and then when I got off the bus and the place we were going, I saw the same number again. And instantly, I said, "Wait a second! I see numbers a lot, but there are certain numbers, like you said, that hit your spirit." And so when I Googled the number, it was so much confirmation in the number. And so, yes,
mm-hmm.
to answer your question, I do see whether it's the repetitive of that same number or whether that number hits me in one day multiple times. And once it does
Yes.
that, I stop what I'm doing because I'm like, okay, God, you sending me a message. And once I see what the message is, I'm like, I'm grateful for being obedient and paying attention to my
Mm-hmm.
surroundings because people may see it but don't catch it. But when it hits your
Yeah.
spirit, you be like, there it is right here. But so to answer
It,
your question, yes.
and it's so weird because this number has been coming up since last year, but it was like the middle of last year, but it was coming up a lot in Florida and it would come sporadically. And I'm like, okay. Then I forget about it a couple weeks, couple months. And then I seen it again 3 times today. I saw it yesterday and I've been seeing it all the time and it equals 8. It's three
Mhm,
numbers that always comes up. It equals 8, which means new beginnings, right?
mhm, mhm.
And somebody just put up 1111. My baby's birthday is 1111, and his name is Gabriel. And a lot of people say 11. So, numbers
Wow.
are important to me because all the women in my family, my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, and me, we're all born on the 7th of a month. So, they say
Wow.
God, 7 is God's favorite number, and we're all
Mhm,
left-handed. It's which is so ironic, right? But
mhm.
these three numbers keep coming up, which is new beginnings. And also what happens is God always draws hearts for me. I don't know if anybody else has different things that happen to them, but he always draws hearts for me. Like it'll be something so random. And I'll be
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm not tripping. Let me call my child. Mommy, that's a heart. It'll be a heart out of a string. I'll pour sugar, it'll turn into a heart. I am not lying. The water will boil in the mid, like it's crazy. So that has
Wow.
been happening a lot. So that's why I say, and this is a part of what you asked me about what's happening now. I
Mhm,
just feel like everything is opening, and that betrayal led me to a different environment.
mm,
There are still some things that have to be worked out, but while I see this is what I want everybody to catch. Don't wait until it's all over because it's still not all over for me. I'm still in it, but I see it with different eyes and different things are happening to me.
mhm,
But while I'm still in it, the windows of heaven are open and he's putting me in different places. He's bringing different people in my life, places I never
mhm.
thought I would be. And I'm like, okay, God, you ever get, and that dark cloud is gone. You ever get that feeling like, oh, it's my time. That's where I'm at right now. I never
Amen.
thought I would be this even a couple of months ago.
Wow.
So I know that there's more to this. Everything that I had to go through. I know that I'm going to be on stages. I know I'm going to be in Africa talking to the young girl. I know I am because I did not go through that for nothing. But when you think about, when you look at your life has a pattern to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a part of the pattern that has been in my life since I was a teenager. And
Mm.
some may look at it as a bad thing, but actually, God works all things together for your good. It's a part of my ministry. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't asked to go. I ain't need to do all that, God, but it's a part of my ministry. I get to turn
Right.
up the fire, like, okay. So yeah, so that's the answer to your question. That betrayal really brought me to this place of the windows just being open and me meeting new people. And now it's time to step back into my position where I thought I lost my power, where I thought I lost my trailblazeness, if that's the word, where I thought I lost my identity, but I didn't lose it. He was just giving me a new one. You notice in
Mm.
the Bible, he gave a new name.
Mm.
He gave a new name. Abraham had a new name. Paul had a new name. When he transformed them and they went through something, they came out with a new name.
Listen, and it's so funny. I just want to thank God right now while we're live, because there's so much confirmation that's being taken place. But I had to give the word on Sunday. So I gave the word in church on Sunday. And
Wow.
it's so funny how you're talking about the new and different things and new levels, because the word that God kept giving me was faith. And I told the
Mm.
congregation that the old faith is not going to open up the new doors. And
Woo.
so there is a new level of faith that we have to move on and in. Like old
Mm.
keys don't open up new doors. Old faith, like sometimes we get too comfortable working on that level of faith because we've gotten quite a few good things and and
Because
some
we
good
know it
things
works.
on that. So we thinking like, oh, I'm good. But just like the
Yeah.
Bible tells us, to much is given, much more is
What is
required.
required.
So if he is requiring more of you, then that's going to take us to another level of faith. And so
Yes.
it's a new level of faith. And only way we're going to get to a new level of faith is being tested and tried, so we can make sure that okay, I know that I know that I have to trust God with everything. And if I say that, that means that when I say that, literally it's with everything. And so you just confirmed some things on tonight, just talking about the new levels, because that's what God had given me for Sunday. And I said, listen, what opened up 2901 is not going to open up the new address. So it's a
Nope.
whole new place. And so
Oh,
because
yes.
we realize that we're in a whole new place, like that faith that got you over is not the new faith that's going to keep you there. Because now that you've gotten over, now it's time to elevate the faith. And so
Yes.
I'm grateful for that, of what you just said as well, about that. Listen, y'all in the chat box with me. My name is Jabrina Speaks, and the amazing Miss Candra Ward. She is sharing her pain, her progress, her purpose. She talked about what it looks like when betrayal come knocking on the door. That was her pain. And then how she progressed and processed through that thing. And one thing that I love that she said was that she went and bought her a box from Hobby Lobby, and she added notes in there and prayers in the box,
Mhm.
because one, it helped
Yeah.
her when she overcame where she once was. It's going to allow her to use that for somebody else. But then to also, she just spoke life over herself, even though some days she couldn't even speak. Then she talked about how now that pain is pushing her to the next level of her life. How
Mhm.
now the dark cloud is gone, and that
Yes.
God has an open heaven on her. Now he's requiring more of her. So she know that the work is going to be a little bit
Woo.
more. So
Yes. Yes.
so with that being said, Candra, if you could leave the audience with one thing on tonight. You discussed a lot of great things on tonight. And so if you're just joining us, you're going to have to hit the replay to get the full story.
Mhm.
But if you could leave
Yes.
the audience with one thing on tonight, what would it be?
Community. Get people, surround yourself with people that get you.
Mm-hmm.
Surround yourself with people that are there to hug you and kiss you and love on you and text you in the middle of the night. You good? You okay? You
Mm-hmm.
okay? That is,
Mm-hmm.
I have some amazing friends in my life that do that for me. You have to get people in your life because And don't stay by yourself. Don't get solitude. And this is why I say get community. It don't have to be a whole lot of people. Community could be one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be one person, but make sure you get somebody that can speak into your life. Now, with that, don't run them away. Don't call them every 5 minutes. Oh, because people got lives too,
Mm-hmm.
but make sure you get some people that don't mind sitting on the phone with you for an hour if they need to.
Mm-hmm.
But check this out. Don't get somebody that's always going to, oh, it's going to be okay. Get somebody that's going to give you a swift kick in the
Speak
butt
truth.
and going to say,
Mm-hmm.
you've been crying too long, boo. I ain't got time today. You either going to get it together. Sometimes you need that. I'm one
Mm-hmm.
of them. I don't like mushy. You got to talk hard to me. I'm like, because that motivates me, right? But sometimes you want to get people in your life that be like, whatever, or don't even answer your call sometimes because they know they told you to do one thing and you ain't do it. So, they got some tough love. Those
Mm-hmm.
are real friends. So that's one thing that I would leave, because there are going to be them times where it's going to be in the middle of the night and you're going to need somebody to talk to. But the flip side of this, God will sometimes make people not call you, make people not be around because he needs to talk to you. So if I don't say anything else, don't replace him with your community.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And if they would like to connect with you, share how they can connect with you on the different platforms. Tell us what's coming up next for you, what you can
Awesome.
share, all of those good things, so we'll know how to reach you and what's coming up. Because I know there's a conference coming up, a retreat coming up.
Mhm.
So please share all of that great information.
Well, I had to put my retreat on hold
Okay.
due to some things going on. So I had to put that on hold. But I will be in Florida. I will be in Miami on August the 28th at Bronner Brothers. So I'll be teaching at Bronner Brothers. So if you are a stylist, if you are in the
So it's
beauty
coming here?
industry, mhm,
Oh,
it'll be
wow. I
there.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be there. So you can get tickets. But if you
Wow.
are in the beauty industry at all, it'll be at the center. What's the center? What's that? Not the convention center. It's either the convention center or the one that they have the plays at. It's either in one of those two. I think it's the convention center.
James L. Knight?
But it's James L. Knight, yeah. So it's either
Okay.
those two. It's either the convention center or James L. Knight. That's not the
Okay.
same thing, right? It's not the convention
No,
center, is it?
no, no.
Okay, yeah. So it's either those two. So it's going to be on August 28th. So make sure you guys come out. I'll be doing a class talking. The class title is Leverage Your Genius and Write the Book. So I'll be teaching you guys
Awesome.
how to write your book and create streams of income from it. In September, I'll be in South Carolina teaching the same thing. I'll be at the Impulse Summit. I'll be in, I forgot what part of South Carolina that is. Oh, Columbia. I'll be in Columbia, South Carolina, September the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then after that, I'll be in Atlanta. So I had a busy year. So I'll be in Atlanta doing a women's conference. I'm one of the speakers. And I don't know the date. That's in October. She should be giving me the flyer soon. But what I have going on for me personally, I do have a boot camp that's coming out. It's actually starting on the 14th. I am teaching you. It's a 3-day boot camp called the Book Creation Boot Camp. I'm teaching you how to write and get your ebook out so you can make your first $1,000 off of it. You will spend 3 days with me, but 30 days with me in the membership. All right. So you don't want to miss out. That's only $297. So you're spending $297 and you're going to be making 1,000 right off the bat with the things that I'm going to be sharing with you and more. So make sure you check that out on CandraWard.com. Okay. And that's that. Oh, and social media, I'm Candra Ward. No nicknames, just Candra Ward.
No
I'm
nickname,
easy
just
to find.
Andrew.
I'm easy to find.
Listen, I am so happy that you joined me in the chat box, my sister. I'm truly,
Yes.
truly grateful for your story on tonight. I'm truly grateful for everybody that watched, that shared, that liked, that commented. It is a blessing to hear someone's story,
Mm-hmm.
because our test is only a testimony, but then
Mm-hmm.
that is not for us, it's for somebody else. And so
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, God uses all of us, honey, to go through
Woo!
some things, but it makes us a better person. It
It does.
allows us to show people, and again, okay, God, I hear you, because going back to my message for Sunday, um he just have been, faith has been the word that he has given me these last few days. Faith, 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 and I'm very big on it. But I was explaining about people in the Bible that had to stand on faith, like Noah, and Enoch, and things like that. But then God said, while I was writing my message, yes, I did give people in the Bible, but I want you to talk about people out of the Bible. And so I began to explain about, I just gave stories about people in the church and I used them in my message. I said, and so just like tonight, yeah, they can go read about somebody that had to deal with betrayal, but they can inbox Candra and get a full story and talk to you physically. And so, yes, God has made has given us the Bible, and those are the words that we stand on. But then he's also given me a Candra Ward that knows what betrayal is, that still have life in her body, that can be able to share her story. And so if somebody is walking or in the face of betrayal, they can read their Bible, but now God has given them a human person that will stand before them and say, I know what it is that you're going through. And so I'm going to stand with you as your sister or whatever. Yes. So you know that this is what it is. And so again, on tonight, I'm so grateful that God is just bringing everything full circle of why he has me doing the things that he has me doing. Because now, just on tonight, I realize why my pain, my progress, my purpose is so important, because it's showing the world people outside of the Bible. It's giving them a living proof. If they say, well, some man wrote it, so we don't believe it, but they can't say man wrote Candra, because Candra is a living witness and she knows what it is. And so God is using you in this season.
That's good.
And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So again, my sister, I love you. I love you. I love you so much. Hopefully when you come to Florida, we can grab lunch. That's actually a weekend that we have. I don't know if you'll be down there Saturday, but that is one of She Connects Inc. Selfie Saturday.
I'll be with y'all then.
Oh, on August 27th. So we look forward to seeing you.
What we doing?
We are going to round one. We're going to round one. It is a huge arcade that covers bull riding, karaoke, go-kart, skating, trampoline, bowling, the whole shebang. So we're going in there to have us some fun. We are going in there to have us some fun. And so to every woman that's watching, sorry, man, I'll find something for you guys to do. But this is for my sisters that wants to connect with like-minded women. We get together once a month. Check out She Connects Inc. On social media, on all the social media platforms, but definitely check out SheConnectsInc.com. And only reason I'm sharing this because you asked, because normally I don't share anything about She Connects Inc. on the live. I keep it strictly for this purpose. But of course, somebody may see it and want to connect. So definitely connect with us. Miss Candra, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm super excited about your present and your future. Your present and your future, because the betrayal has only set you up for the best years of your life. And so with that being said, we love each and every one of you guys for joining us in the chat box, every first and third Thursdays at exactly 7:30 p.m. with me. My name is Jabrina Speaks, and I'm grateful that you have joined us on tonight. My guest, Candra Ward. Have an amazing night. Shannon, thank you for joining us and staying with us the whole time, Shannon, commenting.
Thank you, Shannon.
Shannon, I thank you and I love you. I'm going to have to bring you on, Shannon, so be looking out for a text, because you will be on in September if your schedule allows. I know that you have a story to share with us. Have an amazing night, everyone. We love you. Mwah.
Bye, guys.